You're watching Tito Talks, non-life insurance discussions. My name is Miguel. We're very, very happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for spending the next 10 minutes with me. We've got something really interesting for you guys today because this usually happens quite a lot, especially during collisions in between two drivers, wherein one party simply wants the problem to be solved immediately by throwing money at it. And what we're about to talk here today are known as your outside settlements, not informal settlements, but outside settlements. And when we say outside, it's outside settlements. We mean settlements outside the insurance policy. Mga usapin na sinimulan po ng dalawang panig nang hindi po kasama si insurance. And yes, there are very interesting implications on the insurance claim when these sorts of things happen. And before we get into the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Help me grow. Help me provide more relevant content that you could use in the most stressful and critical of situations of your motor car ownership. As always, if you're here as a potential agent or if you're here as an agent struggling with various questions to explain to your customers, this is the place to be. And of course, if you're also a customer trying to navigate through your policy, this is also the place to be. As our promise is to make non-life insurance principles easy to understand for both clients and agents. Now, without further ado, let's get into our promised content for today. Now, before anything else, let me talk about outside settlements. What do we mean when we say outside settlements? These could probably refer to agreements, arrangements, engagements that occur between most of the time two parties that have been involved in a vehicle collision. There are cases po kasi wherein in certain collisions po, one party is already adamant and one party is already, let's say, remorseful about their involvement in the accident, and they just want to get the problem solved as immediately as possible. So the following conversations may be familiar to you or you may already have encountered them. Magkano na lang ba deductible mo? Bayaran ko na lang yan. Um, Bigyan na lang kita ng pera pang repair niyan. Ikaw na bahala sa mga dyan. Wag mo na akong hahabulin ha. Sulatan kita ng cheque. O ito, magkano ito? Ito, 5,000. Kunin mo na yan. Wag mo na akong guguluhin ha. Pasensya na ulit sa abala. And these sorts of agreements can happen in between the two drivers way, way before the insurance companies can even take a look at specifically what happened. Now, a lot of questions could arise from these sorts of arrangements. Number one question you'd probably ask is, ina-upload ba yan ng insurance policy? Pag nalaman ba ng insurance company na may outside settlement ako, invalidated ba ang aking claim? Di na ba ako makakapag-claim? Paano kung walang insurance yung nakabangga sa akin? Pwede ko pa rin bang aregluhin na lang sa kanila tapos magke-claim pa rin ako? Ano mga kaya kong gawin pag nag-aalok yung nakabangga sa akin? Total, aminado naman. Yung nakabangga po sa akin at nag-aalok naman siya ng danyos base po sa kaya niyang ibigay sa akin ngayon, paano kung kulang? Pwede ko kayang habulin yung nakabangga po sa akin? And these are a lot of very interesting, very valid, and very common questions that you might encounter from your clientele. Or you as a customer may be wondering, it may have already happened to you, or you're probably thinking it's going to happen one of these days. And today, we're gonna let you know 3 very important things you have to remember about these outside settlements, whatever these settlements may be. And to ease your mind, let me jump in straight to number 1. And our number 1 point is that these outside settlements are all right. Sige lang, go. You can get into outside settlements with the aggrieving party, especially if you are the aggrieved party. Kayo po ang nadehado, kayo po ang nasiraan, kayo po ang mas malaki ang pinsala. Yes, it's all right to get into these deals before the police arrive, when the police arrive, when the investigative party arrives, or even when you're already dealing with your insurance. It's perfectly fine. There are people entrepreneuring, very, very conscientious, and they just want to solve their problems immediately, and they have the budget. Sometimes they have the budget on hand already to pay you off for the damages that they might have caused to your vehicle. So it's all right to get into these sorts of agreements, provided that both of the parties agree. Parang sumasang-ayon po ang dalawang panig, hindi po napilitan ang isang panig. Which means, very, very important point, especially for those new drivers out there right now, you may find yourself in a collision wherein you're the aggrieved party and the aggrieving party or yung nakapinsala po sa inyo is offering you a very, very small amount or is offering you terms to which you may not be comfortable accepting. At the end of the day, it is always your choice whether or not to engage in a particular agreement like that. You can say no. I can have my insurance take care of this for me. Sila na rin ang bahala sa iyo. And in fact, that would be my advice to most of you. Try to avoid getting into these outside deals. Although they are all right, although they may seem convenient at the start, or they may seem advantageous to you from a certain perspective, they may not be in your interest in the long run, especially kapag pinaprocess na po ang claims ninyo. You'll find out in just a few moments. Now that is number one. As long as both parties are agreed to it and they're okay with these things, that's okay. You can go on ahead and get into these outside deals. However, that brings us to point number 2, which dictates that even and in the case that you do get into an outside settlement, your insurance company has to be aware. Yes, kailangan po alam ni insurance company na you participated in a particular deal. However, that may be irrelevant as well kasi po your insurance company will and can sorry, I switched them over. The insurance company can and will find out if you entered into an outside settlement or an under the table settlement or an extracurricular settlement with the aggrieving party. Bakit ka ako? What makes you say that, Miguel? Well, it's really, really simple. Every time someone files a claim, especially pagdating po sa motor car insurance, the first thing insurance companies try to do is to pinpoint the aggrieving party, yung liable party, the person who's responsible for the damages. Why? Because as soon as the company takes care of the claim, as soon as the insurance company pays for the claim, nabayaran na po yung kliyente nila, na fulfill na ang agreement ng insurance between the insured and the insurer, it's time for the insurance company to mitigate their losses. And you probably know what happens during this time. Naghahabol po sila ng danyos dun po sa liable party. So, for those of you who have been involved in accidents and you found yourself on the aggrieving end of the deal, kayo po ang nakapinsala, kayo po ang liable. Yes, it's very important to note insurance companies can and will get in touch with you and try to recover their losses, because at the end of the day, you're not off the hook just because you're the party that you aggrieved, the vehicle that you managed to damage, or the people that you managed to injure happen to have insurance. It doesn't excuse you from liability to the law. It just transfers it just changes the party that comes after you if you are the aggrieving party. So kindly take note of that. This means when your insurance starts to process the claim, they won't just talk to you if you're the aggrieved party. They'll also be talking to the aggrieving party, yung nakapinsala. They will also talk to them and get the details about whatever settlements they might have settled with you. And here's where things get very, very interesting, because this will lead us to point number 3, which dictates that no matter what kind of deal you get into, no matter what kind of outside settlement you get into, you are still, as motor car owners and as customers of insurance companies, you cannot profit from a particular settlement. Hindi nyo po pwedeng pagkakitaan ang isang settlement. You could demand for, let's say, 50,000 pesos from the party that injured you or that destroyed your vehicle. And then yung settlement po ng insurance nyo, it could be even less than 50,000 pesos. So you're left with a check that takes care of the damages, and then you're also left with money that was given in surplus by the party that aggrieved you. That ends up in profit, which actually violates one of 6 insurance principles, and this insurance principle is known as the principle of indemnity. In any insurance deal po, hindi po dapat pinagkakakitaan ang insurance. The primary goal of insurance, you've probably heard this already from your agent, the primary goal of insurance is simply to indemnify. Nothing more, nothing less. Whatever you've lost, it will be reinstated. Whatever financial losses you've sustained, they will be returned. Nothing more, nothing less. You are not supposed to make a profit out of your outside settlement. All right, Miguel, I get your point. What's the insurance company gonna do when they find out I made a little bit of money off of the settlement? Well, it's one of several things actually. The insurance company could decrease the amount of settlement that they provide you, taking into consideration the amount that you've already received from the aggrieving party. 2, they could actually ask you to return the surplus to the aggrieving party, which I'm sure the aggrieving party would not say no to, because they gave you too much money, and they would probably want to have that money back, because it would look like you have profited from your claim, which should never, never, ever be the case. So with that, let's do a quick summary of what we've talked about today. What are these things that you have to know about outside settlements? Number 1, you can get into them. No questions asked. Pwedeng-pwede naman po. It's your choice at the end of the day. Number 2, you can get into them as long as both parties agree and the insurance company knows about it. Best to come clean whenever you start file a claim. It's really easy to say, and it will not affect the claims processing at all. You just have to come clean. I was offered this particular amount of money by the aggrieving party. And the insurance company will take care of the rest. They will take that into consideration. And then finally, number 3, you are not supposed to make a profit. Either party should not be supposed to make a profit from the insurance claim. That is written in stone. Ask any competitor and ask any insurance competitor within the market. You can ask any agent. That's one of the most basic principles that are taught to them when they start their craft. So with that being said, once again, this is Miguel from Tito Talks Non-Life Insurance Discussions. Thank you so much for spending the next 13 your 13 minutes with me. Once again, shameless plug lang po ulit. If you're looking to sell, you're looking to buy non-life insurance, you know who to talk to. I can hook you up, whether that be motor car, property, personal accident, marine, even bonds. We can talk about it po. If you're also looking to sell insurance and start a career in selling non-life insurance as well, I've got a few hookups that you might be interested in. So once again, this is Miguel. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much for your time. Please enjoy the rest of your day.